video anymore. We went straight to live. So
we'll do it live. There you go. Hi. Hey, Ed.
it's
How's
been a
it going?
while. It's been a while, and what happened is StreamYard dumped the video intro
Yep.
completely. It's okay. We need a new
That's
one
all right.
anyway.
Rough
We
cuts,
need a
you
new
know.
one
We
anyway.
need we gotta do
We'll give
some more AI music. Happy 2026, everyone.
Yeah, so John and I haven't streamed for a little bit. It's been kind of the break for the new year, and a lot of things going on, making it hard to get back on stream. But now we're on schedule, somewhat. We're getting there. We will be, I
Yes.
promise.
Yeah.
Unless you're gone traveling somewhere next week.
Not quite, but soon. Yes.
Soon enough. All right. So
Yes.
there might be a skip in the schedule here and there, but that's okay. I'll be streaming a lot more often on this channel with lots of stuff. So keep your eyes peeled. But this show is Eat Sleep Code, and we usually have a fun little intro, but it's not playing right now. And what we talk about on this show is just general tech news, our old man ranting, our thoughts and opinions on things happening in the tech industry and AI and consumer electronics, what have you. So I'm Ed Charbonneau, developer advocate here at Progress Software, and being co-hosted with Mr. John Bristow from Octopus Deploy. How you doing, John?
Yes. I'm well. I hope everyone's having a good year so far. Lots of stuff to get through for sure. The world has turned upside down with the price of gold and new AI models, and I don't know what else is going on.
The price of gold? Where did that come from?
I
How
don't
is
know. I'm
that
just
tech
reaching.
news? Now, actually, it's actually a pretty serious tech news thing. If it's gold is like in every tech device, like every tech device. It's one of the best semiconductors for electronics because of its high efficiency or low resistance rather, and it doesn't tarnish. So fun fact for the day.
Good luck getting a GPU these days. How much is the 5080 costing these days? Like $5
Oh
grand.
my gosh. Yeah, they're like astronomical to get a GPU or memory. Memory is just insanely expensive. So any kind of DDR RAM, just out of this world expensive.
Yeah.
But what's
looks like
odd is like
looks like Apple made the right decision to go kind of all its own hardware. So
did they make their own RAM though? Isn't it affecting them too? Like they probably just use off the shelf DDR RAM.
Well, it's all soldered in, so
they're not fabbing their own.
They're fabbing a lot.
But what I did find interesting is other devices that aren't like mainstream PCs seem to not be hit by it. So like I picked up a pretty beefy tablet, and I'm not a tablet fan. I literally wanted something, John, that I could put like a calendar on and just display and interact with just with a calendar. And I'm like, I know this sounds like I could do it on paper. I hear you already, sure, John. Yep. But I wanted something like a task board that I could just go to and look at all day, but not take one of my monitors up, and still sync things electronically to. And I was like, what is like the cheapest way I can do this? And I was like, I'll just get a tablet. How much are those these days? I ended up getting a like way more tablet than I needed for like $200. It's like a 10.1 inch. I think it's like a Lenovo tab or something.
Sure.
And it can do a heck of a lot more than I'm going to use it for ever. But it's like 32 megs or 128 megs of storage, 4 gigs of RAM. I said megs of storage. Wow, I'm old. 128 gigs of storage, 4 gigs of RAM, and some whiz-bang ARM processor. Cheap as dirt. But yeah, God forbid you want a couple sticks of RAM for your gaming PC. That's gonna set you back like 2 stacks of bills. Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's gotten to the point now where they actually give you a Google Pixel tablet with your air conditioner, for example, to run it. So they've largely become commoditized. You can pick them up, like a Samsung Galaxy at like your Home Depot or even Home Depot. I was going to say Officeworks for like a couple $100.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They get smaller, they get faster until they're needed for AI, and then they get super expensive again.
Yes.
So speaking of AI, John, we did promise some developer news. And I do want to take a minute to thank the folks in chat that are showing up. Appreciate y'all being here. But you are going to talk about Moltbot. This is the first time I've ever heard
Yes.
about Moltbot. What's a
Oh,
Moltbot?
well, it's eating the world right now. This used to be called Claude and it was spelled CLAWD as opposed to the other Claude AI that we're familiar with. And the original author of this changed the name, obviously, because I think Anthropic and folks got a little bit upset. But basically, Moltbot or Claudebot, it's basically a self-hosted AI assistant, and it's kind of cool actually. So the way it works, it was written by a guy Peter Steinberger, I believe his name is. And what it does is basically it runs on your hardware, and the key message here is that it integrates with all of your sort of messaging apps like WhatsApp and Telegram and Discord. And the idea is that it's trying to do some real world work for you. So rather than hosting this somewhere off in the cloud and doing some sort of integration with other cloud services, this runs
Mhm.
locally on your machine. And so you can send it messages. It will talk to you in response to do various tasks, and it will answer things like your text questions. It can manage your inbox. It can schedule meetings. It can fill out web forms, etc. Do all these automations, if you will. And some examples of people utilizing this include, folks who are doing it for home automation, daily personal briefs, doing things for cooking or ordering things off Amazon. These and other sorts of things people are doing things with it. The reason why this matters and the reason why it's kind of interesting and it's kind of eating the world in terms of news coverage in terms of AI right now is that it
Mhm.
really points to a future of where AI is not just sort of reactive text, but it's doing a proactive, sort of persistent agent like capability,
Yeah.
acting on your behalf. And so, yeah, that's something you can check out. Now, that being said, there's a lot of concerns regarding the security implications of something like Moltbot. Obviously, granting it permissions to all these things has raised the specter of what if it goes a little bit awry. So that is something to consider. That
What's the
being said,
worst that could
also,
happen, John?
yeah, I know that's right. So Cloudflare recently introduced their Malt Worker. So if you want to run these things, you can actually minus the minis. What this means is you don't have to go out and source all these Mac minis to run this stuff, which is another ongoing trend these days. A lot of folks are actually
Yep.
sourcing these Mac minis to basically run their own QA sort of lab environments for their AI workloads. And so Moltbot can now run inside of Cloudflare through a custom worker that they also have provided. And then they talk a little bit about here, which is interesting, how we changed, we build tools on Cloudflare. We first implemented Playwright. So this is really, really popular. If you're doing any kind of web testing, you should check out Playwright. And then
Definitely.
they basically utilize this and then integrate it with their Node integration there for running on side of their worker. So kind of interesting there. This and also the stuff that's happening around Ralph Wiggum. I don't know if you've heard about this. Have you heard of what's
No,
happening on
but
the
I
Ralph
love the
Wiggum front?
name.
Okay. So Ralph Wiggum as an engineer, this was a concept that was popularized by Jeffrey Huntley, who's a developer down here in Australia. And the idea is that Ralph Wiggum is sort of this caricature in The Simpsons that people know and love. And the idea is that Ralph isn't the smartest, knife in the drawer, so to speak. But the idea is that Jeffrey proposed this sort of approach to doing software dev. And the idea here is that if we get a workload and we can approach our workloads in a sense that is very simple and basic and learn from those workloads and then iterate over time and then have that tightly constrained by requirements and tests, etc., we can essentially get our Ralph Wiggum approach to doing AI through this sort of very simple bash script, which is basically while there's still work to do, read a prompt markdown file, run Claude, and then have basically Ralph do its thing, which is not a framework or anything. It's just like an approach to doing this stuff until you
Mhm.
meet a certain criteria or you max out on your retries. Along the way, it will learn from your Git commits. It will document the things that it's learned along the way. It will do a bunch of other stuff. But the idea is that if you let Ralph work for, like, say, a day, or maybe a month, consuming a very minimal amount of tokens, for example, you can do some really interesting things. And so this is an approach that's also been promoted. And these are some of the latest sorts of things that are happening around the world of AI. So Moltbot is interesting. I think this will be interesting for a lot of folks who are interested in the sort of getting stuff done really automated and really quickly. And then Ralph Wiggum is obviously an approach that software devs can use going forward.
Very cool. I like it. It's kind of like a, I don't want to say its name out loud because I've got one in the house, but if you added like voice control
Malexa.
to it, yeah, if you added voice control to it, it's very like similar to that, but actually useful.
Yeah. Yeah. So this runs just as a CLI. And a lot that's the way that most things are going right now is CLIs or TUIs, terminal user interfaces. So yeah, it's interesting. That's the kind of preference these days. But it will be interesting to see how people utilize these things. Like you can see all the integrations that are there. I get a little antsy when I see stuff like this, right? So if I see all the productivity apps, the stuff that I don't know if I really want controlling my home, because I've got a lot of these devices in my home, for example, or my socials, etc. It can get a little scary. But if it's tightly constrained, who knows? We'll see.
Yeah. So I saw a Discord integration there. It reminded me to pop our banner for the Discord channel. We have a Discord channel here at Progress. It went away way too quickly. I'll pull it back up because I know people didn't see it that fast. How do I change the timer on this thing? There we go. Timer off, save, banner on screen. If you want to chat with our folks here, myself, anything you saw on the show that was interesting or anything dev related, jump into our Discord, say hello. We are there to chat. The Moltbot thing is something I'm going to have to check out. It looks like something that I would be interested in. I've got so many AI demos right now on my local like machine that I need
Sure.
to like push up to GitHub and stuff. I've been doing a lot of work with AI because of the stuff that we're doing here at Progress and also the courses that I'm working on for Dome Train. So it's like so many samples I've got going, and I could probably take some of those and stick them in a Moltbot and do something with them.
It's
So
not an old idea. I'm surprised that they didn't go with the Guilfoyle bot from Silicon Valley, because there's an episode where Guilfoyle does set up an AI so he doesn't have to talk to one of his coworkers because he's busy with other projects. So he sets up an AI so that he doesn't have to respond to his colleagues. Classic sort of developer, hack.
remember that one guy that was doing like all of his daily tasks just off of non-AI based scripting?
Hmm.
And he had like more than one employer that he was working for at the time, and he
Yep.
was just like
Yep.
running scripts and collecting checks.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Take it with a grain of salt. Take a look. It's interesting. The Ralph Wiggum approach or technique is also interesting. Jeffrey's writing a lot about sort of things that are happening around this right now. So it is really cool. I would say experiment. Take a look at what this does. See if you can automate. I started down this track a couple of years ago when I was looking at automating all the things. I wasn't using AI to do it. We'll see. I mean, we'll see how this works. I think what we need to treat our agents kind of like junior employees, set up reasonable permissions for them to do work, but don't allow them to kind of paint outside the lines, so to speak. So they can do stuff, and if they get it wrong, or they make a mistake, okay, fair enough. You can always go back and check. Have a human involved in the intervention if necessary. But this might be a good thing to check out.
So, the term AI gets thrown around really loosely as well. And I think one of the things that something like this really is enabled by is the natural language processing capabilities of large language models. I think that's like that in tool calling. Tool calling, definitely you could throw in that essential like AI category, but natural language processing is just like one of the coolest things. Being able to
Yeah.
type a prompt into a command line that
Yes.
doesn't follow a code syntax or any special type of markdown language or anything. Just type normal words and it can
Yeah.
translate that into commands. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is partly that. It is also the fact that we have to help these systems along. So you define things like skills. You have to have MCP servers. You got to avoid things like context rot. These and other sort of aspects are really important to manage. But you're right. I mean, being able to do as I mean, not what I say. Don't worry so much about the grammar. Worry more about what my intent is,
Yeah.
I think is really the high order bit. That being said, there is an article that does touch on some of these things. This was written by Govind, who's a technical director over at Microsoft, called Context Driven Development Agent Skills for Microsoft Foundry and Azure. This is a blog post that went up recently. I thought it was a good sort of summary of what's there. He does highlight, obviously, agent skills. So this is a collection of skills, prompts, agents, and MCP configurations up on GitHub. So you can take a look at this if you're at all curious. This is obviously really important if you're thinking about context. So context is what your workloads, your agents will utilize to get work done, and it really does matter. He does touch on the aspect of context rot. Basically, you don't want to load everything at once. The reason why is because when you do so, your context window gets absolutely crushed and cluttered with all this irrelevant information. This is actually one of the things that happens in Ralph Wiggum. With Ralph Wiggum, in that approach, what they espouse is basically writing down what you learned and then starting fresh, starting anew on the next iteration. There's other things as well involved with it, but that's kind of the thing that you have to think about those. You also reduce the amount of tokens that you are utilizing within your context window, which is important. So those things are important. But if you're all curious about checking out what's available from the Microsoft side of things, you can check out this. And they talk about installing agent skills, utilizing skills that you require, integrate them with your agent, utilizing MCP servers. We have one at Octopus, of course. And then utilizing things like Context 7 for Foundry docs. This is docs, and all that stuff's relevant, right? So that's going to help you help your agents run more effectively as opposed to efficiently. Efficiency is not the goal here; it's effectiveness that's the goal, I think. So, yeah, lots of stuff covered in this blog post.
There's some really cool MCP servers that are out there. We're gonna do like a special show on that. It's gonna be at a later date and time. We haven't determined exactly the channel for it yet, but there's so many great ones out there. We're gonna do a show specifically on that. And just to name a few, like off the top of my head, Context 7 is a good one that they had on there. The GitHub agent or MCP is also really cool.
Yep.
So the GitHub MCP, you can install it as a there's a couple different ways, but I think the way I installed it is through Docker. So you just spin up the MCP in Docker, you connect your AI to it, whatever it may be, and then again through natural language, you can ask it things about any repo that's public.
Yeah.
Which means if you have a public repo, you can just go in there and say, all right, I want to know how many outstanding issues I have on my my Nuclea SDK repo, and it'll come back and it'll say, you have 5 issues open, and you can say rank them in order of severity by the sentiment in those issues, and it'll give it to you. It's
nice.
Just that easy. Like you can just talk to it and it gives you answers. I'm dead serious. It's really cool. You can hook it up to a Moltbot, have it do your daily stand-ups for you, and then you can go get a second job.
Okay. One of the things that we're doing with this is we're utilizing sort of like the well-architected patterns that you see with let me see if I can bring it up here. So from AWS and Azure, for example, these are architectural best practices. You can utilize these with AI agents as well. We actually utilized this recently with our agent for Octopus when constructing deployment processes, and then factoring this information in to the generative process for constructing a deployment process as part of that to do checks, etc. So the Architectural Center of AWS describes these things. It's under a number of pillars, which you can find here. Go away, chat. Go away, chat. All right. So you've got like, your various pillars around well architected applications for AWS. These articulate what you need to focus on when designing for cloud instances like AWS, and they're pretty common. And then you can utilize that in context with an agent when doing things like work, like, hey, create a deployment process, etc. And so we have an agent that allows you to do just that. And so we've started utilizing it that way.
Cool.
Yeah. So if you're looking to modernize or automate your life, you can check out Moltbot if you want.
So I've been busy with AI, John. I
Really?
I've been I've been a fan like of AI. I'm not a data scientist by any stretch of the imagination. I've dabbled in machine learning, done a couple Kaggle whatever they call them, like programs.
Okay.
It's kind of like a kata. You can think of it that way.
Yes.
It's kind of a challenge that you do. So I've done a couple of those. Never done any of that in any massive capacity, but the large language model stuff I've been following for years as well, and it's just been really cool. So I thought I would put some of that knowledge together and show .NET developers how all of this works in the context of .NET software. So I've got a course out on Dome Train. If you're
Nice.
new to AI, you haven't been following it and nerding out to it, this is going to help you catch up. So it talks all about like what the different types of AI are, machine learning versus large language models versus neural networks. All that gets covered in relatively short periods of time. And then we dive into code and talk about how to connect to large language models, use a little bit of ML.NET for some machine learning type stuff, and put it all into practice. So if you get a chance, check that out at dometrain.com. The course is Getting Started AI for .NET Developers, and it's going to get you on ramped to being the AI person at your company in about 5 hours time.
File new model.
We show you all of that. There was CES while we were away.
Here we go.
And there is all sorts of stuff going on with CES. They always have these wacky inventions. I thought we'd just scroll through some. I did not look at these in advance. So if anything comes up that maybe we shouldn't be showing on the channel, I will just scroll through it as
Scroll
fast
slowly.
as possible.
Scroll very slowly.
But yeah, we're just going to riff on these for a few minutes. And if you want to talk about any of it, visit our Discord, sharing the link down below. So do you really need a barcode scanner on your refrigerator, John?
Again, this is like The Simpsons did it. Silicon Valley did it. So they do this as well. And then Guilfoyle decided to hack the fridge. So
they keep putting all kinds of random stuff in our electronics. I have a refrigerator that we recently got rid of because it died, and it was probably about 5 years old. And that refrigerator had Wi-Fi, and there's an app you could connect to it, and it was using machine learning, no joke, to predict, like, if you open the door to the fridge a certain amount of times a day, like what that was costing you and how many times you would open the door the next day.
Are you sure you need another cookie?
Yeah, exactly. It was really weird. So we got a new one, same model, manufacturer and stuff. I have not connected the Wi-Fi to it because I don't need it. What is this?
Dude, I have a convection stovetop, and the other week it wasn't working because the Wi-Fi didn't connect to it. Yeah. And this is I had to isolate this because it's on 2.4 gigahertz. It's on a really crappy bandwidth, which is totally saturated. I can't change it. And it's like basically causing me angst because it's like, ugh, all right, let's get it on the IoT subnet, and worry about it later.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny because the fridge died, never alerted us that it had, the compressor had gone out and the food was bad, because we bought a a range with the same manufacturer, and the range, there's a bug where it just continuously tells you that it needs to be cleaned. Like from day one, it just said you need to clean me, and then like you'd clear it, and the next day it's like you need to clean me. And I called tech support, and they're like, okay, so here's the fix: go into notifications and turn off
Yes.
notifications for the app. That was the fix. So when the fridge died, it never notified us that it was dead.
You got that blender that will play you Macarena. You got that blender that will play you the Macarena song as you're blending your margarita, I guess. I don't know. But, all those chips, by the way, they're like incredibly simple and incredibly dirt cheap and incredibly underpowered. So the fact that, why didn't my fridge tell me it was dying? I would love to see the death message. Like, help me, Ed.
Its purpose is to make stuff cold and keep it cold. That's it. It doesn't need Wi-Fi. It really doesn't. I don't need a Lenovo
the purpose
display
is to
that
pass.
tells me
The purpose is to pass butter.
Tired. Exactly. Let's see. Yeah, this isn't creepy. Real Botics unveils new robot.
No, I have a problem with this. Just move on. We're not even. This is dumb.
It's Uncanny Valley at its finest.
Yeah, it's even worse than that. It's terrible.
How about a toilet with Wi-Fi?
Good. Yeah, here we go. What does this do?
Maybe it talks to you. Have you seen Better Call Saul?
Yes.
This is a safe for work podcast.
I think they're just messing with us right now. They're like, dude, we'll get a booth.
If you know, you know. If you watched,
yeah.
If you know, you know. If you watched Better Call Saul, you get the reference. If you don't, you don't. We'll move on. More robots.
Wow.
That one's doing laundry. Let's see what else we have here.
Can't wait for these things.
A bendable phone that doesn't crease.
Why?
I don't know if this is the one. Oh, come on. It wouldn't let me kill the video. It's making very loud commercials.
The robots are my favorite because they inevitably make mistakes, and it's actually quite fun to watch what they do next. Lots of memes have been generated from those.
I was trying to see if it was the scrollable phone that I saw, but it wouldn't. The video immediately went to a very loud ad.
Sure.
So, yeah.
I think there's probably a correlation between ridiculous invention at CES and the state of the economy. Like if the stock market's at an all-time high, the inventions that are displayed at CES seem to be really dumb. Like I remember some of the stuff that was happening prior to 2008. I think 1999 had some ridiculous things that were being proposed. This is where the era of like sockpuppets.com and pets.com and like it just seems to me like we're at that stage now where anything that comes out of CES at that, like it's not through necessity. It's just by, solutions looking for problems.
All the problems have been solved, and this is what you end up with once all the problems have been solved. Ridiculous stuff. Where is it? The scrollable phones were kind of neat. So instead of like a folding phone, like the LCD screen was able to like curl up inside, so you could take a phone and like an old school actual scroll, like pull it apart. Those were pretty neat. I don't know what the longevity in those type of devices will be.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that thing's gonna break in no time.
But
if you got a hinge, cool. Like that's gonna snap.
It wasn't a hinge; it was a scroll mechanism.
Oh, whatever.
Which made it easy to kind of stow away. Lenovo Legion gets SteamOS. SteamOS is really cool. We covered that on the other show, except you weren't a big fan of their AI, or not AI, VR headset. But yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff.
Dude, do you remember that flying bird simulator thing that we were looking at? Where you lie down on the table and you mimic that you're flying, etc. Like this is in this category, in my view.
This is the rollable screen. Let's see if it plays.
Good, here we go.
An animation here. There we go. There. See it expand out.
Mm, all
I
right.
think it's cool. I don't know if it's practical, but I do think it's cool because it stows away very nice and tidy
I
and
it's a laptop. You're on the go. Like, just get a bigger monitor for the home. You know
you know what
what do you
actually
do?
works
Like whip
better?
this out, and you're what are you gonna do? Whip this out when you're on the airplane and like knock over the guy's drink to the right and left? I
You know
don't
what
get
works
it.
better than
What?
a VR headset?
Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah,
Put that on, and you don't even have to have the laptop open. And yeah, let's get back to some AI news, John. We
sure,
talked
sure.
enough about CES and all the craziness that comes with that territory. Similar to the discussion about the AI stuff that I was working on with my Dome Train course, there's a lot of different platforms, frameworks, and everything for doing
Yeah,
AI.
absolutely.
So we have a great post on our blogs over at telleric.com/blogs. This one is building AI agents with TypeScript and AI SDK. And this is using Vercel AI.
Hmm.
And it's showing how to connect all of this up and make an agent using TypeScript. So it's pretty detailed here, and I think it's a multi-part series, so we won't get too
Okay.
into detail, but it
Yep.
goes through all the basics on how to get it set up, how to configure it, how to create an agent, and so on and so forth. And it's just a good read if you're new with the AI stuff and maybe you're checking out Vercel or you're already using some of their tools. And
TypeScript
there's
seems to be
even
really popular amongst the AI vendors these days. It's used
yeah, it is.
everywhere now.
Yeah, I know our AI platform has a TypeScript SDK, and that TypeScript SDK actually like powers all of the back office stuff. So
Mm.
it's like one of those things where the SDK came first to make the product. So it's like a really like soup to nuts, like covers everything SDK. Like anything the platform can do, the SDK covers because it was created to facilitate the platform. And if you're making any of these agents, this is the Gemini design language. It is
Yes.
up at design.google.com in their design library. And this is an article that describes like all of their interactions that they came up with for the Gemini agent. So this is a space that I think is changing a lot and very fast
Yes.
because we
Yes.
don't know like
No.
what this interaction should be.
Absolutely correct. Yes. Absolutely correct.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I talk about this in a presentation that I have I gave at .NET Conf. It's like we're in that era of responsive web design. Do you remember when responsive web design came out? And it was like,
Of course. Yeah.
okay, people have phones now, and they're going to load a website on their phone, and they're going to pinch and interact with it on their phone, but all of your websites are legacy websites and like you got to like pinch and zoom to like see stuff and pan around with your
Yeah.
fingers, and that's not a good
Yeah.
way to
Yeah.
interact with it. And like everybody was trying to figure out like how do we pivot our content to be responsive and flow and adapt to mobile devices. I think that's where we're at with all of this. We have existing apps, we have existing content, and we have existing user interfaces, but this thing's different. Like I said, natural language processing being one of
Yeah. Yeah.
them, voice input, all of that type of stuff. And then like the content's not exactly the same. Like it's giving us answers. We're not paging through pages of data when we search anymore. So there's a lot of things changing very rapidly in this space. So it's paying attention to these design and UI practices is like essential right now if you're building any
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think this is important. It certainly beats having just sparkles. That's for sure.
exactly. So this is more about the visual aspects of it.
Yeah. I like
It's
it.
kind of it's really cool though, and I love that they are blogging about this stuff. So that's up at design.google. I mentioned
More
.NET Conf.
stand-ups.
I mentioned .NET Conf, and that is a yearly event that is virtual, and it is held on Microsoft's Visual Studio Stream. And they have a lot of good streams, and they've
Yeah.
had quite a few since the last time we've talked. We won't go into details of each and every one, but I just wanted to
Come on,
kind of
let's do
remind
it.
folks that this is here. That they're planning all of their roadmaps on the
Yep.
stand up, which I think is
Yeah,
awesome
yeah.
because they're getting feedback from developers live as they're showing this stuff off, asking questions, showing what their tentative plans are, and seeing if there's anything they could do differently or better. This one, building agentic UI with AGUI and Blazor, is really cool. I'm a big fan of Blazor. And AGUI is super neat, being in the UI space. The concept of AGUI is you have a shared state between the large language model and the user, and natural language processing. So you can talk to an agent or a prompt or voice, and then there are things on screen. They could be literally any type of user interface, but they're being powered by the things that you're asking or being responded back from the large language model on. So, for example, if you were like, I want to create a shopping list shows up on your screen. List items are added and removed, either through you interacting with the list itself or with the chat. And you could tell the chat to remove 5 items, and it'll zip through and remove 5 items, or you could physically go in, tap buttons, and delete them. You can do stuff like that with AGUI, and it's kind of a space where I've set up some patterns and practices already, so it sounds familiar to me. But if you haven't seen it before, definitely check that one out. And
Lots of stuff's
then,
happening in that space, by the way, Ed.
yeah,
That's
a lot of
that's a
stuff.
very yeah. So like Mermaid is the another sort of example of technology that's being leveraged in this AI space. So Mermaid JS is a framework where you can have simple ASCII charts generated into SVG charts automatically. This is supported natively in GitHub. There's
Mhm.
now a framework called Beautiful Mermaid, and that's being utilized in these UI sort of interactions with agents as well. So the agent user interaction, which is what AGUI is, there are elements of that are coming out in frameworks as well, like Mermaid.
Yeah. It's definitely a space where great minds think alike. Like, these things weren't public or well known, and I was looking at ways to improve some of the UI on our UI products here at Progress. We've
Yep.
got Telerik UI for Blazor and Kendo UI, and I'll be talking about this in the next .NET Community stand-up next week. And the concept is very similar to what AGUI established, and it's you have this shared state, and in our case, it's with a data grid interface, and it's got, like, I don't know how many features, like 30 something, 35 features, sorting, filtering, all of those sort of things. And through natural language, you can control all of those features without having to click a mouse and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's crazy cool for accessibility and all sorts of stuff. So um, we're gonna have like an AI showcase type of thing next week on the .NET Community Stand Up, showing off a bunch of stuff we're doing here at Progress with not only user interface but AI agents. There's all sorts of AI agents that we have. Fiddler being one of the neatest
Yeah,
things
yeah.
that we've done in a while. We've got coding agents that help you build UIs. It's nuts. So tune in .NET Community Stand Up, and then they're also on Twitch as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm waiting. There should be a schedule drop here for what I believe is going to be Friday the 6th.
Okay.
And it's gonna fill the space, I think, all afternoon.
Nice.
I think it's okay for me to tell people about this.
Eh.
So I'm gonna do it anyway and ask for forgiveness later. But we're
Sure.
doing a best of .NET Conf,
Nice. Nice.
and that recap is going to be on Friday. And I think there's gonna be, uh, you know, kind of a consolidation of things that happened during .NET Conf and some new
Yeah.
things that have happened since. So look out for that. I should be on there as well. C Sharp Fritz from Jeff's channel,
Yeah.
he will be on there, and it's going to be another great show on that .NET Community Stand Up Visual Studio
Love
stream
it.
channel.
I like any time there's like a watch party or a best of.
Yeah,
Give me the summary and give me your take. I like those things. Reaction videos are kind of a secret shame of mine. I watch a lot of those on YouTube.
and I'm looking for something very important, and I'm trying to see if we still have our video here.
Uh-oh. Is this going to be
Oh,
another something to do with the face and hacking of the face again with
oh
the
no. I don't know if somebody got into our StreamYard and took things away, or if StreamYard did an update and we lost stuff. But
Uh-oh.
I do not see. Oh, here it is. I found it. You ready, John?
Sure.
It's time
Hey,
for
there it is.
Can It Play Doom? It's been too long. We
Yes.
haven't had a Can It Play Doom in forever. But
On a receipt printer. That's awesome.
if you want to play Doom on a receipt printer, somebody's done it.
Is this is like a receipt printer for like a parking meter or something like that?
Yeah,
Eh?
it's
Like, that's
like
awesome.
consumer, you
Wow.
it's an Epson receipt printer that you might have.
This is I think this is definitely near the top of my favorite ones I've seen. It's
Except
analog.
that's Half-Life too.
Yeah.
Let's see
Oh,
if
are they printing
blast
out the
it out.
screens? Are they actually
Yes.
printing out the? Oh, geez. Okay, that is
Let's see.
hardcore. So what do you like? Do you like flip boat? Or do you use like a flip book sort of approach to play it back?
Let's see if we can get it in
Wow.
action here.
Oh, that is
There we
hardcore.
go. There we go.
Oh, wow.
They're doing some
Wow.
Half-Life on there as well. So,
Wow.
yeah, they're streaming the
Okay.
screens out. It's a great use of resources, by the way.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You mentioned that when all your problems are solved, these are the things you come up with.
Sure.
Apparently, we have too much paper,
Oh, wow.
and this is what we're going to do with it. But it's
So you
very
can create like a flip. You can create like a flip book or something. That's awesome.
yeah. It's very, very geeky, very fun. And we have a bonus. This week. Time for Can It Play Doom again? This time we have Doom on a Labubu.
Oh God. Okay.
I don't know. Do you know what a Labubu is, John?
Yes, I do. I do
kids.
know what a Labubu is.
You
Yes.
don't have kids, you shouldn't know what a Labubu is.
Yeah, it's the 2025 version of the sort of Tamagotchi.
Let's see if this works. I don't know if I haven't. Yeah, there we go.
Nice.
So I think they defaced one.
Oh, there it is, the PlayStation
And
logo.
then embedded like a Raspberry Pi like device.
Yeah.
I think it says in the article, I did read some of this. It's like a PS1 emulator or something that they installed. And then there it goes, PlayStation.
Wow.
And apparently Doom is on that PlayStation emulator.
Fantastic.
So
how do you I guess you'd use a remote sort of wireless controller. Gotcha.
I think there's something to do with its hands.
Oh wow. Okay.
Something's wired up to its hand.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, there you go. Look.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love it.
There's Doom on a Labubu. What's better than that? Can't get better than that, John.
That is good.
We got comments here. Recall playing that years ago. It's been a long time. I think I've mentioned it on the show, but since we've got people talking about it here in chat, I bought my second computer. Like I had my first computer was a 386SX. The SX stands for sucks because it lacked a math coprocessor. So it was very bad at anything, including and especially video games. Yes. And all my friends had better PCs. They were all running 486DXs, and I was jealous.
With a turbo button.
Yeah, with a turbo button. And I went out and got a job, and I saved every penny. And I bought a Pentium 90, which was like cutting edge at the time.
Oh, that would have smoked everyone.
Yeah, and it had 16 megabytes of RAM, which
Not
again,
bad. That's very good.
so in today's equivalents, this
Like
is
an
like
M4 MacBook.
yeah, it's like an i9 or yeah, like a full-on MacBook.
Yeah.
Um, this is like an i9 with a graphics processor and 64 gigs of RAM, that type of thing. So
Dude, Doom must have screamed on that. That would have been really good to play on.
so Doom in its entirety was less than 8 megs.
Hmm.
So what I did is I split my 16 megs into a RAM drive,
Yep.
8 megs of RAM drive, 8 megs of random access, and then I loaded all of Doom into the RAM drive.
You must have loaded instantly.
It did. It was already in RAM.
Yeah.
So I loaded all of it into RAM drive, then told
Yeah.
my friends to come over. And I was like, watch this. And I, changed directory into, drive E or whatever it is, which is a fake drive. It's just memory. And I'm
Sure.
like, Doom 2, which I think it's like, was it Doom 2? I think the command was actually D2. Doom 2. And then it's like a TV set, like boom, Doom's on the
Yep.
screen. They're like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was absolutely screaming. And they were super jealous. So, oh, we are dating way back here to the 6800s.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Hardcore. I like it.
I never had one of those personally. Probably did mess with
It's not a
one at
68,000, by
school.
the way. It's a
Uh,
6800, right?
yeah,
You called it correctly, the 6800.
my muscle
I
memory kicked in there.
my I know my earliest the youngest chip I ever worked with directly was a 6502 running at 1 megahertz. So there you go.
Yeah, I don't remember which one I used in college to do a game that I built, but I wrote, or not even wrote. It was all discrete electronics, so it was
Nice.
gates and things. But there was a small CPU that was used for like
A
a
Casio.
bomb. It was a bomb defusal game.
Oh, good.
So I won every technology competition that we had at school. So we had our final one was we had to take like everything that we learned in electronics and put it into one contraption. So
Like a
I
Labubu.
built, yeah, I built a mini oscillator that was um, built with surface mount. Uh, what do you call it? Surface mount, like a handmade board,
Okay.
and ran off of two 9-volt batteries. And then I had two breadboards full of both discrete electronics and like ICs and things like that,
Sure.
and all of it harnessed together with like the biggest bird's nest you ever saw.
Hmm.
And it was attached to like a LCD timer or 8-segment display timer. And the object of the game was you had to solve math problems before the timer ran out, and then it was hooked to a phony explosive.
All right.
So it looked like I was carrying a literal
You should have
bomb
called it the
around.
MacGyver. You should have called it the MacGyver or something like that. That would have been
Yeah,
good.
but it looked pretty legit because of all of the random stuff stuck to
Yeah,
these.
absolutely.
Like I
Of
think I used
course.
like toilet paper tubes or
I'm
something to
surprised you
make
didn't get
it
a knock on the door.
like the FBI showing up.
I don't know.
I think it was early on enough that people didn't throw red flags
Care.
every
Yeah,
time
they're
they
like, yeah,
saw something
whatever.
suspicious.
He's just a nerd.
Yeah, just one of them crazy people again. But yeah, that was one of my projects. So I did some of the like the raw like machine level stuff. I don't remember what, I think that was at 80, 88 maybe at the most.
All
Something
right.
like that. It was old school. If you want to talk about any of that stuff, jump on our Discord.
Nice.
Post stuff in there. We have a general chat. Just throw it in there. Say I was watching the show and I had played Doom and made crazy stuff in my garage, and we'll chat about it. John, any parting words?
No, I guess I would just recommend to folks to just keep up to date on everything we're talking about here. It's moving fast, and it's moving a lot faster now that we're seeing things like Moltbot and AGUI stuff. A lot of this stuff is going to come to fruition really quickly, and it's going to impact you, I think. So, in terms of being able to utilize it effectively, is going to be important. So keep up to date.
Yeah. Yeah, stay tuned because in a couple of weeks here, we're gonna have a soft launch of an SDK that I've been working on. We have this really cool product called Progress Agentic RAG, and it's like a RAG system. You can throw almost everything in there. Like if you got video, like MP4, images, text files, PDFs, MP3s, that type of stuff. You just throw it in this tool, and it's going to vectorize and store all of that stuff in a database, and then you can literally ask it questions in natural language.
Mm,
So I'm working on an SDK to get that into hands of .NET developers to see what they can do with it.
very nice.
And it's
I like
like a
it.
super powerful tool. It's a lot of interesting things that you can do with retrieval augmented generation. It's a
Hmm.
fancy word for like something that's not such a fancy process. It's a complex thing, but that makes it sound so much more nerdy. Retrieval
Yes.
augmented generation. You're basically searching semantic meaning of your documents, and then that search result is plugged back into the large language model to give you a natural language result. So you query it with natural language, you get natural language back. So you can think of it as like a custom GPT type of interface, but it
Hmm.
can do so much more than that because
Yep.
it depends on what data you put in and what questions you ask it. So you could take like all of your competitors' data, scrape their website, get it all in there, and then build battle cards for sales on how to compete with this competitor.
Yep.
You can put all of your product data in there and then ask it for product recommendations for customers. I mean, it's just crazy, like all the different things you can do with that data once it's in there. It's not about just like generating text like you see from a chatbot. There's just so many more things you can do other than talk to the data. It's like reprocessing it in different ways that you never thought of before that I think is neat. So that's going to be in a couple weeks, and it already exists for TypeScript, JavaScript, and Python. But we have a pretty good .NET following, so it'll be cool to see what they do with it.
Cool.
All right, John, that's all I've
All
got for
right.
today. I will
Yes.
see you all on the streams next week. Visual Studio Live, or sorry, .NET Community Stand Up with Daniel Roth on the Visual Studio channel on Tuesday, and then on Friday with Jeff Fritz on the .NET Conf recap. And we'll do another Eat Sleep Code in between that. So
Nice.
I'll see all of you soon. Take care.